This is a land of dreams and madness. Children's stories come to life.
Hello there. Welcome to Tales from Peridia. Today we are joined by Kyber Forged. I actually just met this dude last week on Gazer's stream. He did a live podcast. Unfortunately, this one is not live because we don't do live podcast over here. But Mr. Kyber,
They tend to go on for 3 hours
hey, I'm
too.
always down for the long streams, but recording for 3 hours, I'm like, all right, I gotta, I gotta go do something. But Mr. Kyber Forge, how are you doing?
Great. How
I'm
are you doing,
doing
sir?
fantastic. Still a little tired, but
Awesome.
eventually wake up. So before we get into the questions, why don't you go ahead and tell us about you, if you got YouTube, Instagram, like where we can find you, all that good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, my main stuff is all on YouTube, Kyber Forged. I do stuff on Instagram and TikTok. Both of those are Darth Scathe, Darth underscore Scathe. And then Scathe is also spelled wrong because Siths can't ever spell an intimidating word correctly. We have to mix it up a little bit, throw a K instead of a C in there.
Oh,
But yeah, I make most of my stuff over there, and a lot of my stuff on TikTok and Instagram. I pull up a lot of like old interviews and like cut them up, and um, a lot of just jokes because it's I like making Star Wars jokes. There's just so much great
oh,
material to pull
dude.
from.
If you guys have been noticing, I've been sending them. I'm kind of like talking to everybody, like at the moment. I've been sending everybody the Anakin versus Obi-Wan musical that you brought up on Gazer's stream.
AI, mwah.
And everybody that I've sent it to has been like, yo, I need a full version. I'm like, well, you're in luck. And I just send them the link and they're like, there's no way. How'd you find out about this? And I tell them about you.
I guarantee you. Okay, I'm calling it right now. Celebration. Revenge the Sith musical is being announced. Full stage show on Broadway.
That would be the first ever Broadway musical I go to.
That's the rumor. It's not actually. Natalie Portman is not coming back for Ahsoka. She's actually going to be in this musical. That's what she's doing with Disney right now.
Oh my god, that would definitely be the first Broadway musical that I actually go and spend money on and enjoy seeing. Not that I've not that I've
Pre-orders.
ever actually seen a Broadway show, but I would go see that one. Oh, all right. So I guess first question, good sir, is what got you into Star Wars?
So I was probably around 6 when I first got my first experience. My mom, she kind of grew up in that like main Star Wars era. Like she graduated in like '83. So then I was introduced to A New Hope by her when I was like 6, and I just kept watching New Hope over and over again. And then she's like, like they made other movies. I'm like, what? Then I watched Empire Return. Empire is still to this day my
But you knocked
favorite.
out the third question.
Yeah. dot dot dot.
Oh, so Empire is your favorite, and
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
that
Yeah, I was a big. I mean, it's just everything. Like you got all the like big stuff starting right away in Hoth, and then like all of a sudden you're like, oh, we're leaving Hoth. This sucks. And then you're in Cloud City. And then the movie just picks right back up again. Like, okay, cool. Who's this dude in the helmet? Like,
and not to mention, you seek Yoda. Freaking
yes. Yeah, you just pop down a Dagobah for a few minutes. Why not?
yeah, I can't lie. Yoda used to absolutely irritate me when I was little. I'm like, bro, just tell Luke that you're Yoda. Like, come on, just train the kid. And then as I got older, I'm like,
a wizard has to speak in riddles.
As I get older, I'm like, he's definitely testing Luke's patience to see if he's got it in him.
Mhm. It's like, hey, got a little bit of your dad kind of floating around there. Let's see how badly I can get on your nerves.
Oh man, I love the thought of Yoda just thinking like that. Like what? Another Skywalker?
Well, it also just might be retribution. Like he was just like, just still just kind of ticked off about Anakin. He's like, I'm gonna screw his son a little bit.
It definitely sounds like something a 900-year-old frog would do for entertainment. To be honest with you.
You're out there in the like swamp by yourself. What else are you gonna do? You're gonna plan like a master like get back at somebody.
Especially the dude who sent you into exile, son. Like, hey, I'll train you, but you got to kill you got to kill this guy.
I saw a great meme. It was it had the like that one scene where the three of them all show up, and then like Anakin's Force Ghost shows up, and there's that moment where like Yoda looks over at him, and then like the meme says like when that bro you don't like joins group chat.
Oh, have you seen the one where they all show up and Anakin's Force Ghost shows up and then it cuts to Samuel L. Jackson in whatever movie it is. He's wearing the white tank top and he's looking all crazy. Like, what are you doing here? Oh,
There was one too where they had him basically speaking before the Senate, and they cut it with another movie where he's like, what was that one? He was like the British like spies that he was like the
I've
bad
got
guy
no
in.
idea, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Kingsman. Yeah, when he was the bad guy in Kingsman, they had like there was this huge monologue he gives in that. They just have him giving it to like the Senate.
dude, I saw one where it's Yoda versus Palpatine in the Senate chambers, and it cuts to Mace Windu. He's like, "Kill that motherfucker! He killed all our friends." The Star Wars memes are.
Force Ghost Mace was just like, come on, guys! Like he just shows back up, like he's a Force Ghost. He doesn't have an arm anymore, and he just like looks up. He sees Palpatine and Yoda fighting. He's like, what just happened? Like,
So this is going to be an impromptu question. Do you think Mace is actually dead?
yes, I hope he's not. Like I've heard the theories. I love the whole he's sitting on the dark side right now just because he's so like he's kind of seen like how like the Jedi kind of failed, and then like at the same time he's just angry, and like I love like that idea of like a little headcanon story because he seems just too strong to just be you're thrown out the window,
See,
bye. Like I mean Anakin burned alive.
yeah, but I feel like if they were to bring him back, or if he's not dead, it would kind of just like, to me, it feels like they would kind of like undo Anakin's story a bit, because that's like the moment that he turns to the dark side, like chopping off Mace Windu's hand. And I know technically the Emperor killed Mace Windu; it wasn't Anakin, but.
Well, I mean, the Emperor we also know can't be anything done to. So
Yeah.
I think honestly, if Anakin would have never turned to the dark side that moment, Emperor would just off them both. Like he was literally keeping Mace at like an arm's reach just to wait for that moment that he could just pull Anakin in. Like
Yeah.
I think like I love Mace, but I really think that like Emperor had no real battle there. Like he let Mace just go as long as he did because he knew Mace is somebody that had been putting pressure on Anakin. He knew this was a big moment. Like this is how we're going to get you to
So
join me
you
right
think
here.
he threw that
Like
fight, or do you think that Mace genuinely was?
I think he was undercutting it for sure.
Because I love the, like, my head canon is like, that they were equally matched because Mace using the pod, like balancing on it. So it's like if
Yeah.
I can't, I honestly don't even know if I think that Palpatine threw that duel or not. I don't know if it was fair and
See, I
square.
do like the
I need
Shatterpoint
to read
stuff.
that book.
Like I do like the Shatterpoint thought and like how he can like redirect dark side energy. Like that is a cool like theory to it too. But it just seems like, I mean, because of everything canonically they've showed like Palpatine's capable of, like he just seems like he's in another league. Like Mace, most like him and Yoda like 1-2 on like the Jedi power scale, but like I feel like a Sith at number one is like just another level, because I mean he totally just manhandled Yoda too.
Yeah.
Like
That one, I think Yoda wasn't giving his all, if I'm going to be honest with you.
broken heart syndrome.
I mean, we saw dude literally absorb.
You're breaking my heart,
We saw
Palpatine.
Yoda literally absorb Force lightning, and then the next movie,
True.
he's zapped away and then falls off a freaking Senate pod. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I get he's old, but come on now.
yeah. But really, he's not. Like, I mean, don't those things, like, didn't he still pretty much have like a couple hundred years in the bank
Yeah,
if he
pretty
wanted to?
much.
Like,
I think he just got tired in Return of the Jedi, and he decided to
it's like,
overdose on the Force.
just go. I'm just going to chill here, man. Eat my soup.
Oh, all right. So, who is your favorite character in all of Star Wars?
I'd probably. It's always a close tie for me between like Revan and Starkiller, just because two of my favorite Star Wars things, like I love KOTOR, I love the Force Unleashed, like, but I'd probably say Starkiller just because just that lore breaking level of power that just, I mean, the dude kills Force ghosts, like.
Yeah, that is actually kind of insane.
That's why he will never be canon, because like you can't canonize a guy like that, like. And if they do, it'd probably be a disappointment because they'd have to like scale him back a
I'm
ton.
honestly fine.
So I mean, no matter how much I want to see it, I don't think they would.
I'm honestly fine with them kind of scaling him back. I mean, I'm not saying like completely nerf him, like they definitely would.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not saying, have him kill a Force Ghost, but definitely pull down a Star Destroyer. Like,
I'd be down for it.
yeah, oh, Revan, dude. I'm on like the last leg of the Revan novel. Like, have you read it?
No. See, I am just getting into the Star Wars books. Like, I'm just starting to kind of dive into, because I've probably read like the novelizations of the movies.
Yeah.
I've read all those, but like the EU stuff, like I've read Palpatine like 8 million times. But I'm just this point, I'm like, well, no, there's a bunch of other stuff I've always wanted to read. I've just never sat down and read. Just started Bane.
Dude.
Almost finished with the first book of Bane, but I mean, just started the Bane trilogy. So I'm loving it. I'm
You're
enjoying
in
it.
for a
Bane
treat.
is dope.
What part are you at in the book?
So I have gotten to the part where he is the masters are basically like saying like pretty much cast him aside without a second thought. They're like, since he has fear, he's not used to us, and like the whole the battle is just getting ready to start with the Jedi and everything, and like Hoth and everything.
Dude.
So I'm psyched. I can like this is definitely on its way up currently.
Bro.
So we're hitting a peak here soon. I can
just
feel
goes
it.
up from there. Like the old Republic Sith
Like,
are just a whole different breed.
dude, when the dude was literally sitting there, like pretty much running, like playing a game of chess with like spaceships, like
Bro.
like that one like Sith Lord and like that General Hoth are just sitting there, like they're pretty much doing the whole battle themselves. Like everybody else is just expendable. Like,
yeah, dude. When you get to like the Sith rituals and stuff, like you're gonna be like, come on, Disney, just use it, just use it, like please.
There is so many cool things. Like it just, and I mean, even LucasArts before Disney like did it. Like it's just everybody's afraid to touch those Sith characters. Like man, we can't make evil guys be good, can we? Like
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong.
like anytime they do, it's fantastic. But they just always
I
shy away
know.
from it. Like, come on, guys.
Like, don't get me wrong, man. I love Palpatine. I love Vader, but their missions
There's
are
other
just
guys.
nothing compared to like Plagueis, Vitiate, Revan, freaking Malik, Malgus. Like, it just nothing compared to them.
Yeah, Nihilus.
Oh,
Like yeah, I mean there are so many Sith lords, and like you can literally take like 3/4 of them out instantly just because it's like oh they're not canon anymore because like they just like Disney came and like gone Palpatine,
yeah.
Vader. Well, that's all really matters. Maul, Dooku,
Kiadi
Ventress,
Mundi.
except we'll turn Ventress back.
Freaking Kiadi Mundi, now he's like 193 or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, honestly, if I wanted Acolyte season 2 for anything, I just want to see the scene of like Yoda being like, "Oh, we can't talk about this anymore."
I don't even need a season two. Just give me like a 60-second short on YouTube.
Like who? I'm not telling anybody about this. It's a big oversight. Just this is the rug.
He'd probably just look at her and be like, "You seek Yoda," and just fucking disappear.
Just be like Batman. Just like he turns around, he's gone.
Oh my god. Oh. I can't stop thinking about that. Look, I think you pretty much answered my next one, but I'm gonna make you choose. You have to choose a favorite. You mentioned Force Unleashed and KOTOR, but what's your favorite Star Wars game?
I would say Force Unleashed, KOTOR second, and then Survivor's just up there too because that one's a pretty dope game. Like it just shows if you get a good Star Wars game with like modern graphics, just how great it can be.
Bro,
Like love Survivor.
all the games that I've played, I'm just like, okay, so they can get it right with the story in the video game, but they can't get a story together for a trilogy. Like, what is going on
Yeah,
here?
like I was talking like Gazer about this. Like we were saying like the opening cinematic of like the Old Republic
Dude,
is probably the third best lightsaber battle in all of Star Wars, and it's in an opening cinematic of an
yeah,
MMORPG.
dude. Oh my god! Anytime I get bored, I'll honestly just watch those. Like they're so good.
It's so good, and it's honestly it's what makes me want an Old Republic TV show because like I just need to see a Sith Jedi War in live
Yes.
action. Like we've seen so many other things. Like, we've seen maybe a couple Sith versus a bunch of Jedi. We've seen a bunch of Jedi versus droids, but we've never seen that just a bunch of red lightsabers on one side, a bunch of like green and blues on the other side. Like
Yeah,
that's what I
man.
want.
Like, especially like once you start diving into like the EU and all that. Like they mentioned, like in the Revan novel, like the great hyper space lane war, or whatever it was, where like Revan
Mhm.
actually like goes and turns to the dark side and stuff. And I'm like, why can't we get this? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool seeing Anakin and Obi-Wan pop out of their Jedi starfighters and just mowing down droids, but I want to see Jedi versus Sith. Like you said, a bunch of red lightsabers on one side, different colors of the rainbow on the other, just duking it out.
Yep. Like it literally could be the Star Wars in-game moment. Like just like imagine like that type of thing where you just have all these force users on each side, and then just at the same time, all these blades just ignite and they're all running at each other, and then just the score kicks out, and like you're like,
Bro.
ah.
Oh, yeah.
Disney, I'm free. If you want to consult me on script writing, Kyber Forge on YouTube.
Dude, I would absolutely love to see something like that in Star Wars, man. That, oh man, now I'm disappointed.
I'm
Now
with you
I'm
100%.
disappointed because I know it's not going to happen.
You can, it's a theme of Star Wars. Hope.
Oh, so I guess this next one might apply since you haven't really like deep dived into the EU. But what's your favorite Star Wars book that you've read so far?
So Plague is definitely my favorite because like I've always been a big like Palpatine fan. So you just kind of seeing where he came from, and like you just see all these like seeds that are planted that like affect the overall trilogy that are like this is where it all started right here. 'Cause really, Plagueis is episode one. Like as far as like the whole story goes, like until like Plagueis kind of killed his master, like the plan wasn't really in motion
Yeah.
yet. Like
See, I'm gonna have a review of the Plagueis book coming out soon because honestly, the Bane trilogy is like a million times better than the Plagueis novel. The
oh, I'm loving Bane. Yeah, as like a force user and like just as a pure
yeah.
Sith, like Bane's just a badass. Like he's just like he's pretty much just that scruffy, like battle worn, like Sith dude. Like pretty much what we would have like wanted out of like a Maul like solo
Yeah.
stuff. Like Bane really checks off those
See, I
boxes.
love like the first half of Plagueis up until he meets Palpatine, and then it becomes basically the Palpatine book, and I'm like, come
It
on, man!
does,
Like
yeah.
this is called Darth Plagueis, and you bait and switched me. Like you had me for the first 10 chapters. Now it's like, I mean, it's cool. Like, yeah, it involves Plagueis,
Yeah,
and there's bits and pieces of like whenever they visit his chamber or hideout, whatever it was, where he's like experimenting on Venomius and the other Force users and species
like
and
his
stuff.
lab.
Like, that's cool and all, but then it's like,
Yeah,
okay, Palpatine, let's go talk about politics. I'm like, bro, I can just watch the Phantom Menace if I want to hear about the Trade Federation. Come on now, I don't care.
now one thing though, I do love that's like it's never really talked about. Kind of a cool thing that is in like the Plagueis book is you do see the seeds
Yes.
be planted
Yeah,
in
I
Dooku.
do love that
Like you
part.
see the beginnings of Dooku
Yeah.
return. Like Palpatine just like realizes like, oh, I have an in here. Like
I do love that, and then like the like little small hints and nods, like when Palpatine and Plagueis or Palpatine and Maul are sitting out or talking out on the terrace when he's like, "At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge." Plagueis is literally like 2 feet
mhm.
away, just like watching them talk.
Yeah,
And the Plagueis basically
yeah.
set up Boonta
And he
Eve.
was supposed to be there on Palpatine's
Yeah,
inauguration day.
and then like when he goes and talks to one of the handmaidens from Padme and is like, "Yeah, where's Anakin? Like, I need to talk to this kid."
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
love that. Where he almost goes
he's
talks to
like, "Oh, you
Anakin.
just missed him. He went to the Jedi Temple." Ah, okay. Never mind. I can't go there.
I mean that right there, that'd be just a dope what if right there. Like what if Plagueis got the chance to meet Anakin and like immediately realized like, oh, this is what Palpatine's excited
Either
about.
that or, ooh, this could be a major problem if we don't deal with this soon.
I was talking about a rule of two, and it's getting kind of crowded here, guys. We got Maul, we got this new kid in play.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Plagueis is cool. And don't get me wrong, I know like all Sith always got to end up coming to an end, and some are like really dumb, like Palpatine getting thrown down a reactor shaft is kind of lackluster, but he's dead. I don't care what they say. They didn't bring him back in some terrible sequel trilogy. That I don't even like that they brought him back in that one Dark Horse comic. Like that was just stupid. That's just dumb. But like Plagueis, I mean,
I will say one thing. Dark Empire, I did like seeing the concept of
oh
Luke turning to
dude,
the dark
yes,
side.
I
One good thing
I
about that
took
comic.
inspiration because I got a what if like trilogy about Luke turning to the dark side. I already have part one out, but
Cool.
I'm kind of at a roadblock with part two. I've gotten like three sentences in, and it's
Nice.
been months, and I'm like, I can't think of where to take this story.
Yeah, it's a cool con. Like I love the whole thing. Like when he like radios into like Chewie, Han, and Leia. He's like, and like Palpatine's like standing next to him. He's like, "I'm staying here," and they're like, "Oh."
Oh, but what I was saying about Plagueis is he's cool and all, but his death was kind of stupid in my opinion. Dude got too drunk
Got
and then just
drunk.
got like electrocuted in his freaking respirator. I'm like, that's how you went, bro. Like, there's no big epic lightsaber
I do
battle.
like the whole I do like the whole concept that the dark side basically told Palpatine when it
Yeah.
was time. Like Palpatine was leaving. Like he was done. Like he was like, oh, okay, he's drunk. He's going to go to bed. I'll just talk to him tomorrow. And then like as he was going to the door, like the dark side told him, like, nope, don't go. Like this is it. Like right here. Like,
Yeah, when you get to the end of the Bane trilogy, you're gonna look at it and you're gonna look at Plagueis and you're gonna be like, yeah, that was kind of a stupid death there. Like,
it would be nice for a change to see a Sith die in
oh,
like a
dude,
cool
it
way
it's
rather than just like
absolutely insane, and I want to talk about it so bad, but I won't, just because. Oh, dude, it's actually insane. You're in for a treat, man.
I can't wait. I literally every morning to and from work, I just listen to it.
I will
So
say the second book kind of does dip off a little bit. Like it's still good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like the first one and the third one. Like how there's that meme of the Star Wars trilogy where it's like a horse is like it starts out with like the actual rear end of a horse and then it's like a stick figure, or it's like the prequel trilogy or the original trilogy one where it's like it's a normal horse and then the middle it starts to catch fire and then the end is actually like a horse head on fire. This one's like it's like that, but it's like ass end is on fire, middle one's just kind of smoking, and then the end is just blazing. That's the best way I can describe it.
I mean, a lot of times, like usually the second of anything's like just super like exposition loaded. Like, hey, we have a bigger story
Yeah.
to tell now, so like now we have to get all
Yeah,
this out for
especially
you.
because you said you're listening to it, so you're listening to it on Audible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
or
Spotify.
Spotify
Dang, I
actually.
didn't know it was on Spotify. That's awesome.
Mind blowing. Spotify gives you free books now if you have like a paid Spotify
Bro,
membership.
what? I'm getting
So
Spotify
like I
again.
listen like yeah, and like the audiobooks are yeah, I'm sure it's like the same thing on like Audible where it has like all
Yes,
the sound
dude.
effects, like the
Does it play
background and
like
stuff.
the Star Wars
Like
music?
I'm all for reading and everything, but it's so good.
Yeah, the only issue I have is they basically reuse like like Across the Stars or Han and Leia's theme. Like they just reuse certain themes, and I'm like, I feel like you should have gone with a more like Old Republic sounding, or like at the time of the book, like sounding song, like score. Like obviously, when something cool's going down, have the Force or Binary Sunset playing in the background. But when I'm sitting there and I'm hearing
He went to the store to get a candy bar, play Across the
Yeah,
Stars.
but like when I'm sitting there and like the book's getting good and all I hear is "Bah, da, 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 da," and I'm like, no, that's Battle of the Heroes, bro. That's Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Get out of here.
Yes. It's like, that's for a particular moment in the story.
Like, I mean, I guess it makes sense in the Plagueis one because, like, I don't know if it's on the Spotify version, but
It
like
was,
they'll
yeah.
play like the Duel of the Fates. It's like, okay, I can get where they're coming at with that one.
Because it was going to happen soon. Qui-Gon's in the book.
Well, hey, isn't I just finished it, but I honestly it kind of felt like it went in one ear and right out the other. Doesn't Plagueis die at the same time that Maul gets chopped in half? I remember seeing something. I remember
I
seeing
believe
something
so.
about that.
Because I think like events are mirroring
Yeah,
like right there.
I want to say
Or no. That
really
happens much
okay. I
later.
I remember seeing something about
Yeah,
that.
because literally this is happening right before the scene when Palpatine's like, I was elected Chancellor. Like the night before that,
Oh,
he
okay,
killed Plagueis.
okay,
Like Plagueis was supposed to speak at his
okay,
inauguration,
okay. I see.
and they were going through his speech. That's what they kept doing, and then that's when Palpatine kept making him read it over and over again because he realized like he was drunk.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it was literally the night
Yeah, I
before
was
that.
given misinformation. I'll try to find where I got it from and I'll blast them on screen.
Yeah, you mostly you see like moments where like Palpatine's like training like Maul, but like because yeah, I will definitely give it to you. Plagueis is insanely stupid at a certain point in this book where he's like, oh yeah, like it's basically like if you had like your girlfriend have like a really close guy friend, and then you're like, yeah, you guys go hang out.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'll just hang out here. I'll just hang out in my lab playing with my experiments so I can live forever. It's fine. You guys go hang out and do lightsaber battles together. I'll be right here. So I mean, you can't be surprised when we're like, oh, you guys are master apprentice now. E
Yeah,
awkward.
he should have kind of realized, considering that's what he did. Well, he didn't necessarily find an apprentice before he killed Tenebris. He just kind of did it in the moment. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was one thing they did kind of echo in the book, like between like when he killed Tenebris and then when eventually Palpatine killed him, is the dark side does tell you like this is it. Like you don't just
yeah,
decide yourself like, oh, this is the night I'm taking out my match. Like no, you like literally the dark side tells you like this is the moment you're doing it, like right
yeah.
here.
Oh
So
man, I want to make the connection with the Bane trilogy, but I can't because I mean,
does he get this is it
yeah,
like
like
moment?
you get one of those major ones in the third book, and you're like, not even just like it, not even it just telling you, like you get to a certain point, and then you're like, this is it, like this is it. It's exactly like that moment.
It gets like ominous in the book. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, I dig
yeah,
it. I dig it.
let's just say to Disney, if you honestly think that people hate female characters, just bring in the Darth Bane trilogy to live action, and I guarantee everybody will love a female character.
Yeah, it's like there's a few like awesome like Sith like because that's another thing is like until we got like Shin like there really didn't get any
Yeah,
female Siths like we got them in the video game but like never really in the actual live action like it was always just
even
dudes.
in the video games, wasn't it only just kind of like Maris Brood?
Especially once the canon got ripped apart like there's a I think it's the Force Unleashed games but there's like a follower of like the dark side that's like
Yeah,
a female that you're
Maris
supposed to like
Brood or
take
something
down.
like that. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. I was trying to remember the game. It's been years. But yeah, you take her because she has like
Yeah,
the double
the
lightsabers and
like
stuff.
baton looking things.
Oh,
They're sabers, but she's got
yeah,
weird
she was.
hilts.
What was? Oh, God, I'm blanking on her name. She's the same species as Ahsoka. She got killed on Felucia in Force
She what?
Unleashed. She got killed on Felucia in the Force
Oh,
Unleashed. You like knock her into that big
Shakti, the
Sarlacc thing.
Jedi with a million deaths.
Yeah, yeah, that was her master. Yeah, she was the apprentice of her. But then she turns to the dark side after you take Shakti
Yeah,
out.
for like the 10th time on screen.
You see, people talk about Emperor coming back.
Yeah. Somehow Shakti returned.
Shakti is the Kenny of South Park. Like like Kenny from South Park is Shakti in Star Wars. Like you
Yeah.
can't keep her down.
I mean,
You ever seen the deleted scene too,
yeah.
where she gets taken out?
Which one? By Grievous or Anakin?
Yeah,
Well, I guess they canonized it that it was Anakin because in the Clone Wars, Yoda does have that vision, and it's that exact scene where she's in the she's meditating, and you see the blue blade come through the chest.
the the R-rated scene of Star Wars.
Dude, they need to. I know it'll never happen because George is just never gonna let it happen. But I need to see that brutal 4 hour Revenge of the Sith cut. Like, just I don't
It,
even need to see the
it's floating on the dark
I don't
web
even need to see
somewhere.
the whole thing. Just show me Anakin in the Jedi Temple. Like we hear so much about Order 66. We've seen some flashbacks, but we don't ever see exactly what Anakin did. Like yes, he
See, and that's the thing. Can we see some full-grown adults get murdered in the temple this time instead of just watching how different angles we can watch these
yeah.
kids get killed?
Like don't get me wrong. Yes, Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do? Is an iconic moment. But come on, there's like a Gazer brings it up all the time. The hollow message,
It's been done from so many angles at this point.
the Sindralig fight on the hollow message, where he's fighting him with one hand and choking
Yes.
somebody with the other. And it looked like he was deflecting blaster bolts back onto the Jedi. Like it looked like the clones were shooting at him, and he's blocking it to hit the Jedi. Like, let's see this. I don't care if we see the kids getting killed. I mean, we saw Vader snap that one kid's neck in the Kenobi series. Like, we know he's brutal. Let's see him. Let's see this one
Hmm.
guy take out all these other Jedi. Like, come on.
Like we've gotten to see Vader go OP in like Rogue One. I was like, we almost need an Anakin hallway scene. Like I feel
Yes.
like we need like a dark side Anakin like marching through a hallway in the temple and just throwing Jedi's back and forth, like with just no ability to
Bro.
stop them. Like we were talking about like hallway scenes. So I was like, yeah, I think that's one you need to put on the list there. Like we need a dark side Anakin hallway scene. Just let him just go like prime
Yeah, dude.
Anakin it for
Like,
like a moment.
I'd imagine it'd be similar to Maul's hallway scene from the Clone Wars. He'd be like, you know what? I'm just using the
Hmm.
hallway. Y'all ain't even worth my time.
Yeah.
Oh, them hallway scenes in Star Wars.
I, I just rewatched Rogue One the other day, and I forgot how just brutal Vader scene. Like when he just like holds that guy up on the wall, and then just like not even looking at him, just slashes him like as he's walking by.
It, it,
Like, and then you have those dudes just beating on the window, like "Help us!"
See,
Like,
I love Rogue One now. I didn't love it at first. At first, I was like, "This movie's kind of like." I was filming a tier list video talking about the Star Wars movies, and in the middle of talking about them, like you'd think a movie about the rebels getting the plans for the Death Star. Wait a minute, that's the entire plot of A New Hope. Like, why did they make this? Why did they make this? But then I watched it on a watch party, and I'm like, okay, this movie is actually really fucking good. Like, but I find it so funny how
yeah,
Vader does that, and then like 3 days later, he's eh. fighting Kenobi like this. Like, oh, really?
That move always cracks me up anytime I ever see it. It's like, it's a fencing move, but it looks hilarious with a lightsaber because you're just like,
It reminds me of Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith. Supposed to be a master of all 7 forms of lightsaber combat. And you're saying, woo! Like, what are you doing, bro? You shoveling snow? Get out of here.
it's like they should have gave Ian a little bit more face masking for that one.
But there's so many, like, cut behind the scenes, like, lightsaber duels. It's like, what? That was already perfect.
Apparently, that Mace one was supposed to be
Dude,
so
yes.
much longer. Like those Jedi's were not supposed to just get like dropped instantly. Like it was supposed to extend a little bit
Yeah,
from
like
there. Like
I think like obviously Kit Fisto, Agent Kolar, and Sazy Tin, they're still gonna get like taken out. But like I've seen the behind the scenes Mace fight, and it's like 5-6 minutes, and it's like okay, we got 2 to 3 minutes on screen. Like what's wrong here?
yeah,
Why'd you cut this? And then like the Anakin versus Dooku fight on the Invisible Hand. Why did you cut that? That was so cool, bro. Like
and I would honestly be angry if I was like Samuel Jackson and like did all that training to like learn like lightsaber build, and they've only put that little tiny bit of like what you
yeah,
did
I
in the
would be
movie.
kind
Like,
of upset.
what was I doing all this for? Because like I've seen like the footage of like Hayden Christensen and like Ewan McGregor training. Like it's intense what they did to like get ready for Revenge of the Sith. I assume like same choreographer Samuel Jackson probably did the same level
Yeah,
of like
man.
training.
It's
Like
like freaking just I mean it's insane. I mean the training that they do. I mean like the Phantom Menace, they had to slow down Ray and Ewan McGregor's fight scene after he kills Qui-Gon just because they were going so fast the camera couldn't keep up with them. And it's like that's
yeah,
so accurate to lore because the books describe lightsaber battles as just blurs of light. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Because I mean that's why hands down the two best lightsaber battles of all time is Obi Annie
Duel
and
of the
then
Fates.
Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Maul. Like it's those ones are so well choreographed, like from start to finish.
Yeah.
They're just an art form of storytelling, like themselves. Like just the way they all go, like just those little moments you see, like the aggression of Maul through the whole thing, like how he taunts him without even saying a word.
Dude,
Like it's awesome.
there's this one movie reviewer that I talk that not that I talk about. I've never talked about him on my channel at all. That I watch. Chris Stuckman. Oh no, it was actually Jeremy Johns. I actually talk about that dude all the time on my channels. But he was reviewing the Phantom Menace, and he was like, "I've always loved the scene, and I've always loved it too." Where it's like, okay, I forget if it's Qui Gon or Obi Wan, but they go to fake out Maul, like they go to hit him, but then they pull back, and the other one actually like connects with the saber. It's like, okay, these guys are on the same
Yeah,
wavelength, like they know what they're doing, and it's like, then later,
like when they're in
yeah,
that big
dude,
like reactor room right before they go into
yeah,
like the
I think
laser
it's actually
fields.
Obi Wan. He's like, dude,
Yeah,
and then Qui Gon goes to actually
yeah,
strike,
yeah.
dude.
I love that
It's
part too. Yeah. Because you see it and you don't really pick up on it until you like watch that movie 8 million times, and then you're like, oh, that's cool. I never
Yeah,
realized
like
that.
I
Like,
remember I read the Revenge of the Sith novel like growing up, like bits and pieces of it, but I do
mhm.
remember like always remember the parts of it them saying like Anakin and Obi-Wan were like two halves of one warrior. And that's how I imagine Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were.
Mhm.
Cuz
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was definitely like I, I don't know if we'll ever get a lightsaber battle at that level. Like, I think maybe like what we were talking about, like an Old Republic, like lightsaber war is like the only way something can be that good because it's just anything else they do at that level, it would almost feel like
yeah.
retreading. Like, oh, okay, you had a big, massive lightsaber battle, like Episode 3, like Episode
I
1.
will say I did
So,
not like the Acolyte at all. Well, I mean, it was all right the first 2 episodes, but then episode 3, they just kind of they lost me and they lost my respect. And the more and more I find out about the show, like how it costs like $250,000 to make, I'm like,
That blew my mind.
y'all can't even get.
I need to give that to
Yeah,
Obi-Wan.
like, but I will say, I do like the lightsaber fights, like in episode 4 and episode 8, with Kyber and Soul, and then Kyber,
Mhm.
Soul, and Jeki. But it's like you just said, okay, Kyber, Soul, and Jeki, that's Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and fucking Darth Maul, like, and of course the green saber,
Now, I will say that
the green saber wielder.
that one in the woods was
Yeah,
really sweet. Like, it was at least different enough. Like I liked that because that was because it's kind of like it did the things that the first Rey and Kylo one like didn't quite capitalize on, because like there is just something so cool about like lightsabers at night, and like just the way they light up off other effects. Like they look really cool on screen when you do it
yeah.
at like night. So multiple lightsabers like all fighting like one guy at the same time in like a dark forest look dope. Like that episode was great. And then like the whole bit when like he's sitting there like I keep forgetting her name. I always just call her X-23. But like when he sits there and he just like you don't even see him pull the bomb, and now it's like bam,
Bro,
bam, bam, like, and then drops, and you're like,
Jeremy
oh.
Johns reviewed the Acolyte like episode by episode, and when he got to that part in his review, he was like, good for him. He kind of realized that this is a Disney saber. I got to make sure she's dead. I got to stab her 3 times. Another,
I saw a great thing online where they had him do it, and then it cuts away and says
yeah.
fatality.
Another thing Jeremy Johns said when he was reviewing it is he was like, okay, so this guy he gets it, Forget he's slashing all these Jedi down and they're staying dead. And that's the key here. You gotta slash, not stab. That only works on blaster doors and Qui-Gon Jinns. And I started thinking, I'm like, bro, he's so right. Like that only works on the
And Qui-Gon Jinn on blaster doors.
It's so true, unfortunately, man.
Oh, now it's going to disappoint me every time I do the stab effect on my lightsaber. Like, this ain't going to do anything but break a door open or take Qui-Gon Jinn out.
Oh, so you do collecting, right? Like helmets, figures.
A little bit. I've never really gotten to the figures because I feel like that is a mudslide that I would not recover from if I started.
It's dangerous, man.
I do have plans to make like a Death Star room. So like I want to make it super like immersive and everything. So like the collectibles I'm gonna get are gonna be like helmets, blasters, lightsabers, like stuff like that hanging on the wall. But they'll still be like random other collectibles that I'm just like, yeah, this is kind of cool. Screw the theme. This is cool.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. This was supposed to be my Star Wars shelf, but I got like Harry Potter books, Percy Jackson, Lord of the Rings. I got a miscellaneous shelf down at the
I
bottom.
I unfortunately stepped into another form of collecting like the other day. That like, oh no, because I bought a
Oh
few
God,
cards on Star
we
Wars
told
Sith
you not to
whatnot
do
stream.
this.
4 cards on one stream. I'm now the proud owner of a numbered 2003 Darth Maul celebration card.
Dude.
And a numbered Obi-Wan, and a really cool Boba Fett Vader Carbonite card, and then a card that's probably not worth much, but it was Mustafar with Vader's
Oh,
castle. So I was like,
dude.
yeah, it's dope. I'll get it.
I think I've got the same one. There's a couple that, like, it's dangerous, bro. Like, it's dangerous. These.
Yeah. I got a few. I was like, I like messaged like Gazer. I was like, oh no, what have I done?
So yeah, trying.
I was like, hey, they'll probably be here in time for the stream on Tuesday. I was like, so I could show you guys my handiwork.
Yeah. So, Ocala Comic Con, down in Florida, for 2025, they just announced their first guest, and it's Katie Sackhoff. So, I got this card right here. I'm gonna
Nice.
bring for. I got a whole card back. Oh, actually, I forgot it's one of the bigger ones.
I've been considering. I'm about. Oh, that's sweet. I'm about 3.5 hours from Pittsburgh, and she's going to be in Steel City Con
Nope,
in
Anakin Obi
April.
Wan are staying down.
And I was like, well, that gives me an excuse to buy her Mando helmet.
Dude, yes. Oh shit. Okay, so I guess I'm playing 52 card pickup after this. But I gotta say, this is like my
Yeah,
favorite one, just because of all the rumors that
oh,
are
that's
coming
good.
out.
Yeah, there was a few that he put up, and because of the rumors, I like. There was a sick one that had it had Hayden, Ewan, and Natalie all on it, and it was just their faces in that whole like platform scene, and like the art was dope, and it was like hollow and everything, and like I started bidding on it for a bit, but was like, man, somebody wanted more.
I've actually got one. Where's it at? Here. It's in here somewhere. That's the problem with having so many cards. Ah, come on, get out. Them on Geonosis.
That's sick. I like that. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a few that I was just like I tried for, and they looked so cool, but man, they went nuts on them. Like there, I don't. He had one, and nobody bought it because it's $400. He had it was an out of 10 Mace Windu
oh
celebration
yeah.
card, and it was number 2 of 10. I was like,
See,
ooh,
this one's not numbered or anything, but this is like my absolute most favorite card ever. Luke showing back up
that's
at
good.
the
I
end
like
of
that one.
Mando because
Yeah.
when I was a kid,
I think that was he did like a Luke bundle. I think that one was in there too because I went for that one, but it got up there in price after a while.
yeah, like freaking Luke growing up was like my favorite character, and seeing the eighth movie was put me in a really bad spot. So like I just stopped watching Star Wars till I got into
uh,
the Clone Wars a couple years, actually back in 2023. Watched the Clone Wars, Rebels, and actually just the Clone Wars and Rebels because Ahsoka was coming out, and I
mhm.
got into that, and bro, it was here we are. And then I saw Mandalorian after Ahsoka, and I knew absolutely nothing about season two. And just seeing that one X-wing, bro, like even just talking about him, getting goosebumps, and kind of getting tears in my eyes. It was such a beautiful moment.
That scene is literally powerful if you're a Star Wars fan.
Like,
Like I challenge any Star Wars fan to make it through that scene. Like if you've never seen it before, which if you're a Star Wars fan, you've obviously seen it before, but you're lying to yourself if you're a Star Wars fan and you didn't get at least a little misty eyed when you're like when you saw that gloved hand, you're like, confirm it's Luke. Like,
oh man, yeah, I'm kind of getting misty eyed right now.
have you seen the behind the scenes footage from I think it's Book of Boba Fett when they showed like Mark
Yeah,
Hamill like working with the guy that's like I didn't realize like Mark Hamill had that level of involvement in it. Like that makes me feel like even better about it. Like knowing like it's basically him. Like they just kind of putting all of him on someone else's
yeah,
body.
like,
Like
oh man, oh,
because like he was talking to the actor and he's like, this is how I would have like walked, this is how I would have talked. Like it making sure like he's getting all of his mannerisms down and everything,
and
and
he did.
like, and then when he lights up Yoda's lightsaber, I'm like, ooh.
See, I'm a little iffy on that because I know even before Disney, the books and the movies and all that were contradictory of each other. But at Disney, you burnt
Yeah,
Yoda's lightsaber. It was the first lightsaber Masamada throws into that big pit, and then Luke has. Before Luke has that, they come out with comics where Yoda swears off using a lightsaber, and then Luke has his lightsaber.
I'm wondering like it was maybe like here's Yoda's effects, like here like he's just like looking through like, oh dope, it's his lightsaber, like he was like like just kind of brushing through some stuff like Yoda's different like sweaters and like canes, and he's like, oh, his lightsaber back here.
Oh. All right, so
Like it was there at the cave the whole time. It's just in some like ratty old box
do you
like
think
marked Jedi stuff.
he got a force vision of the future when he touched it?
Absolutely, yeah. Saw the entire trilogy play before him.
Yeah, he had to dip out to that island before anything actually happened.
He's like, I gotta go talk to Luke now.
All right, so what? You mentioned Katie Sackhoff going to what convention did you say it was in Pittsburgh? Steel
Steel
City
City
Con.
Con in
So I take it
Pittsburgh.
you've been
Yep.
to some conventions. What's your favorite convention you've been to?
Well, I've only really been to GalaxyCon at this point. It's kind of my local one, but like this is the year I'm really kind of expanding out. Like I've thought about going to Fan Expo. I've thought about going to like Steel City Con. I may just put all my eggs in like a couple baskets because like Gazer has me basically talked into
Dude,
going to like
you need
ICC
to
Con.
go. You need to
Uh,
come, man.
I've honestly I've already booked the hotel. Like I'm pretty much going.
You heard it here, folks.
So yeah, I'll probably be there. Like pretty much like between that and like, and I also want to go to Rebel Scum Con in
Dude,
like August because that seemed like that'd be pretty
yes,
dope to
I'm
go
going to
see.
Rebel Scum Con. I can't wait for that one.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, it just seems like it's a real like deep dive Star Wars fan like type place to be because you got like you don't have like the Haydens or like but you got like freaking people who are like literally worked on episode
Yeah,
4. Like I think they announced like the dude that like was the puppeteer for Jabba.
they're
I'm like,
getting Roger
that's sick.
Christian, the dude who designed the
I know.
lightsabers, and
This is my a roundabout way of obtaining an origin saber since I couldn't get one of those when Theory released them. So I'm just basically going to find like I think what I'm going to do if I'm going to do this right, I'm going to buy a Graflex kit and build it myself and then like get a little like one of those little prop
yes,
master plaques, and then like get him to sign it and then
just
display it with
make
it.
sure you got the
So I
bubble
figured that's
strip
pretty
set,
sick.
not the ESB.
Oh,
He does not like
front
that.
tape and everything. I don't want to show up to the man with any like no. If I present that lightsaber to him, I'm like, this is
Yeah,
the way
like
you designed it, sir.
I asked him his opinion on the Youngling Slayer, and he
Uh-huh.
likes it because it's closer to what he built, but he doesn't call it like a Graflex saber. He calls it that Sith one. And so, but I did get
That's
the red
great.
seal approval for owning that saber.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. That he was definitely like when I saw he was there, I'm like, oh, I kind of gotta go because like I was just so bummed like when like dropped because I was like, man, I want one so bad, and I was even on the site and like it was still there, and I'm
See,
just
I
like,
love.
I could buy it, but then I'll probably be single tomorrow.
See, I love Theory and I love Roger. I love all that they've done, but $1,000 for a saber was just kind of. That's a little too much. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
mean,
Like, it is quality, but
I kind of get it's the difference between like because I mean most of the ones like any really like saber company, it's just your your TX like Qs and your like LGTs and then they just kind of brand them themselves, do their own little spin on them, and then sell them. Like I get the ones that they got to make themselves are probably going to
oh
fetch a
yeah,
much higher like note because I mean what that deceived one was like
yeah,
750, wasn't it?
yeah. And he's released a
Yeah.
couple
So I mean
custom
I
sabers
get it.
before, and like I found a couple people selling them for basically what they paid for it. It was like $600-700. I'm like, that's still a little pricey. Like most I've spent was 470 on the
Yeah.
freaking Tuscan Slayer, and I didn't even like spending that.
I, I'll tell you that that Fallen Knight has been in my cart a couple times before removing it. Like,
Bro,
oh, it looks so good, especially the Batman version, like the flat black one with like the brass pieces are
dude,
like, and then just when it lights up with the crystals, and you're, I have a friend that has one, and he's just like, I once I realized he had, I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
like coolest
me
freaking
and
saber ever.
Gazer's buddy, Galactic Cantina on YouTube, me and me and Gazer are so jealous because he has the Fallen Knight saber in the matte black with the gold. It is like, why? It
It's so
is,
pretty.
bro.
It's just like a beautiful
It,
saber.
did you see the one? Like everybody's got it now, but like the top half is Darth Vader's and the bottom half is Anakin's from Episode 3, and is like it's just all black,
Oh
dude.
yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, that was pretty
Dude,
cool.
I mean, it's nothing on
Very unique tilt design.
it's
Like yeah,
nothing on that
like
Fallen Knight, but
definitely out of the
it
box.
was dope. I'm a sucker for exposed Kyber
Yeah,
crystals.
me too. The one I honestly I had almost bought it, but then like last second I changed my mind just because it seems like the exposed crystals just are not going to be fun to ever try to do anything trick related with because you're probably going to hurt yourself. But I could just see me doing like the exposed night and just get my finger ripped off like
Dude,
in one of those
freaking
things.
the
But
control boxes. I mean, even
control boxes are
like
bad for it too.
the
Yeah.
freaking metal pieces come out like so. Like you're spinning it and it slides out, and
Ugh.
next thing you know, you've got blood on your saber, and you're like, "What happened? Oh, that's what happened." And then don't even get me started on this thing.
Yeah.
Freaking the control box is right there, bro. Like, how am I supposed to spin this?
Have you ever seen that Stormtrooper saber with the
Yes,
exposed crystal?
yes.
That's the one that I almost bought because it's so freaking cool. Because it's just the white, like the cool white and black look, but then it just has that crystal sitting there and it's got the Empire logo and everything. Almost got that one, and then like last second I'm then it's like, man, I just feel like it's not going to be comfortable to use. It looks so cool,
Bro,
but it's
there's
probably
so
not
many
comfortable.
sabers that like I want to get, but then the more I look at them on the websites, I'm like, what's the practicality that I'll ever actually use this? Because like I genuinely
It's
like
a
every
display
day
piece.
for at least an hour, I'll sit here and I'll just turn my sabers on and just play with them and just change out what saber I'm using. Like, but like I like as much as I love Yoda and I want a Yoda saber. I don't ever see myself buying like one from Theory or Saber Theory or anywhere else because it's like
I'm the same
it's so
way. I
yeah.
have huge
Like,
hands.
what am I gonna do with that?
I mean, like maybe if I got that for my kid, like that's one thing because yeah, it would fit for her. But like that's something you literally display and you
Yeah.
do nothing else with. Like yeah, if you love Jedi sabers, then cool. But for me, that reveal, like I'm sure it spoke to somebody. Like somebody out there is like, finally, like.
I would
But
much rather have Ahsoka
me,
Saber.
I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, so what is your favorite Star Wars movie and show?
Favorite movie, Empire. Favorite show. I probably say Andor.
Get out!
It's kind of close because like Andor's up there, Ahsoka's up there, and then like Obi-Wan's up there. Because like I enjoyed all three quite a bit. I mean, and honestly, I know Mandalorian has been mentioned here. I do not hold Mandalorian in the same category with every other Star Wars TV show. It is basically in its own like thing as far as I'm concerned because it's so expansive at this point. Like so many things have bled off from it. It's pretty much its
Yeah,
own
the
universe.
Mandoverse.
So I mean, yeah, Mando is number one for anybody, I'm sure. But like from there, yeah, probably one of
Heck
those
yeah,
three.
man. All right. So, last two questions before we wrap this up here. What's your favorite non-Star Wars
Cool,
hobby?
cool. So I game a lot. Ever since I started the Star Wars channel, not so much anymore because I don't really have the time. But yeah, I play some video games. I write a lot when I get a chance. I've been actually working on like a novel for like
Heck yeah,
4
man.
years now. I haven't finished. Uh, and then I play guitar sometimes. I used to be in a band when I was much younger. But yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I think everybody's tried to start a band when they were younger at some point or the other.
Oh, thanks, man. Fight the man.
it as far as the gaming goes, just game on your Star Wars channel, bro. Just play the Force Unleashed and KOTOR.
I've thought about that. I honestly have thought about like, hey, let's just dig back in and just stream Force Unleashed again. Because I mean, like Outlaw, I don't hold Outlaw like as a problem with Star Wars. I hold Outlaw as a problem with Ubisoft because
Yeah,
like it had all the failings of like, oh, this is why I quit playing Assassin's Creed. Like,
yeah. Everything I've seen,
like, oh, where am I supposed to go? This map sucks.
yeah,
Like,
everything I've seen from Outlaws, I've kind of held it to like Lucasfilm because it's like, what happened to Eclipse? Why'd y'all cancel 1313? Why did y'all develop and almost
I think
release
because
a
the sale.
Mandalorian game just to cancel it a week before its release? Like,
So I don't know if you remember this. You may have been too young to remember this because like I'm an old man here. There was a Darth Maul game that was nearly
yes,
finished, and it got scrapped at the last minute. And I actually put it up on my thing there. That I found like because I just happened to remember this the other day, but there was like concept art that like leaked from it, where they had a dark side Obi-Wan in it, and it was basically like old man Obi-Wan, but like black robes, and he had like freaking like Rancor teeth like hanging like from like bandolier looking things, and like his eyes were yellow, and he had like just this crazy long white beard. And it was like this old document that was supposed to be in the mall game. And it was like maybe like a DLC or something, but
bro.
never happened. And like I saw some of the art, like they had some scenes like showing him in like it looked kind of like an Empire like ship, and he was like fighting a bunch of stormtroopers and stuff. Like, but I assume that got canceled because then they were like, "Hey, we're going to put Maul in like Clone Wars
Yeah.
and stuff." So it's probably the same. It's what I hope is the same reason why PlayStation canceled the KOTOR remake. Is they're like, "Hey, you guys got to pull the plug. We're about to make a live action KOTOR." So
Yeah, see, I think having the game re-release would actually generate a lot more interest than just like us old heads and deep divers that like know about KOTOR. Like
and
they're more wanting to please like the normies, as the internet says, and is like, okay, that's fine and dandy, but do you understand how much money I would drop to see KOTOR in theaters, or like a Bane trilogy? Like, if they released a Bane trilogy, I promise you I'll be in the movie theater every Monday when I got paid watching that movie until it comes out on DVD.
yeah, because I mean, like, have you seen the stuff online where they've literally been like the fan casting of like
Bro,
Keanu
that
Reeves as
goaded.
Revan?
Imagine the money that would generate, bro.
You're essentially just writing Jedi John Wick. Like, just send him on a rampage killing tour because somebody wronged him.
It's insane. Like, even I'm kind of worried about like the rumor about Cal Kestis coming into Andor season 2 because they have Cameron Monaghan, but I would not put it past them to hire somebody that looks like Cameron Monaghan.
It's going to depend what Cameron's price tag is, what I
Probably.
assume. Like, if they feel like he's going to cost too much, they're like, we can do this without you, which I think would be stupid because he like he's got like the fandom like fist bump. Like,
Yeah.
fans love Cal. Fans love Cameron Monaghan. Like, dude go like I was telling like he's like dude goes to Batu dressed like Cal Kestis. Like,
Yeah, like
like, the man loves playing his role, and I appreciate anybody who is like playing a Star Wars character and loves being in Star Wars because they give 110% like that. Like, all the bad stuff about like, with Acolyte and everything. I can't remember the dude's last name,
Manny
but Manny's his
Jacinto.
first name. Guy that played Khmer. Yeah, he loves like playing that role. Like, and
That is a character
you
I
can
would
tell.
love to see
Like,
brought back. Like I was invested in Kyber.
I could go for a prequel of him. Like, I could go with like how did he get here?
I've
Like, what pushed him to like the dark
I've
side?
always
Like,
said that because I know Venomous is a Bith in the book, but I'm completely fine with
mhm.
them retconning it and Chimere actually being Venomous. Because my buddy Mark, the Canardian Jedi, me and him were talking about it, and he was like, "Well, if you think about it, everybody that fought him in the dark, all they saw was that big bubble head. Who's to say, like, okay, I'm fighting you
Yeah,
from a distance, and let's be honest, not everybody's got freaking 20/20 vision."
they call it legends for a reason. Like, it's basically just accounts of stories that might be true. Like, so I mean,
So
yeah, like I'd be totally down for that because I mean, yeah, he was an interesting character. I feel like he gave a whole bunch of different concepts to the Sith that just never were like the Sith were just such. I love like the dark side and all those characters, but like they were very generic. Like, hey, I'm taking over the galaxy. That's my purpose. And he kind of like, no, like I just want to kind of continue
yeah,
my
like I
teachings. Like, I want a student. Like, I want to be able to spread the Sith
I want
like to
to
something
wield
else,
my
like, and not have
power
to
the way I
answer
want
to the
to.
Jedi to do it. Exactly. Like, yeah, like he's like, it's a galaxy. I can be on this one planet doing my thing and not bugging you guys. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
so yeah, I love those concepts that they like pulled in there. But it's like I was talking to Gazer about like there's a bunch of other things that they just weren't really on the same tracks with. Like the May story, they weren't doing at least my opinion, they weren't doing a good job defining like the different twins. They made them so similar. Like, I was like, wait, who's in the scene now? Is this
yeah.
May or Osha? Like, they weren't defined as like because their personalities were basically the same thing, and like nothing really against like the actress or anything because I mean she was just playing a role, but I think the writing they didn't put this like this is Osha, like this is how Osha's personality is, this is who
Yeah.
Osha is. It's like, and this is May, this is who May is, this is who May's personality is. Like, they just kept kind of going back and forth. And then there was a few times I think it was kind of one of those situations where they had like good cop, bad cop, and they forgot who was the good cop, and they switched midway through the game. And
That's actually like the best way to describe
so,
it.
because they were like, wait, I was the good guy, right? Okay, let's start again.
Oh man.
So yeah, like there was they had elements in that show that could have worked, but I think they didn't. There was just some behind the writing that just didn't fully give you that thing to just pull
Yeah.
you in, like, to make you like it.
I mean, to be honest with
So
you,
the way I see it, I mean, if you take a risk, you miss 100% of shots that you don't take. So they took a shot, it didn't work. Go back to the drawing board,
See,
try
my
again.
my thing is, yeah, they had cool elements, and I did enjoy like Kyber and Soul. Like those are the two characters that stood out to me the most. And but Kyber, like we talked about earlier, it's pretty much like Qui-Gon Jinn. Like,
Yeah, like Dark Side Qui-Gon. Yeah,
but
very much so. Like he's pretty much a gray Sith. I mean, if you really put him in a category, because he wasn't, because like his whole bit, like he wasn't trying to take over the galaxy or anything. He just wanted to practice his like
yeah,
religion. Like you say, I mean, yeah, he's if you have a gray Sith, I guess he is the closest
but
definition to it.
freaking, if they wanted this to be a Sith show about like the Sith taking control, why not just make Plagueis? Like it's I know that's where they were heading, but
It's
it's
my
like,
whole
bro, just
thing.
come out swinging with it. Like, you know how many fans have been waiting for this since 2005? Like, get out of here.
Yeah, like, and there's so many things that like a company you can tell and it's not even just like Disney. It's any company. They want to make their own stuff. It's kind of like an arrogant thing where they're like, no, we made this. Like this was we didn't borrow characters from something
Yeah.
else. Like so it's like the whole like High Republic thing. Like they're trying to run with that. And the problem with the High Republic, like the reason why it's not quite working is the enemies are not that interesting. Like a bunch of pirates are not interesting. Like a bunch of pirates versus Jedi, it's not much of a battle. Like if you make it a battle, then you're just
Yeah,
writing it
like
bad. Like the Jedi should just take out a whole bunch of pirates causing some crap across the
I don't
galaxy. Like
understand. I
shouldn't be
don't
that big of a
understand
deal.
exactly like what goes on in the High Republic because it's supposed to be the golden era of the Jedi. No war, no battles, no
hmm
nothing. So it's like, okay, so what's even the point of anything going on?
Why would you want that? Like conflict breeds story. Why would you pick a time of no conflict?
Yeah, if they're going to at least get the timelines right, because they at first they said it is 100 years before the Phantom Menace. Cool, and then you read the
Okay.
first title card says 100 years before the rise of the Empire. I'm sorry, that's Revenge of the Sith. That's not the Phantom Menace.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's canceled, and I'm really glad about it.
Yeah, I mean, my only thing is I just hope that the fact that because it didn't work and they're like, let's give a Sith character a shot, that it just doesn't spur them on Sith characters moving forward. Because like I said, Starkiller, Revan, there's a ton there they can look at that just have great stories. Bane, like you can pull from the EU. No one's going to be
What's
mad at you for
crazy
doing
is
that.
they release figures of these guys, pop Funkos, fucking Black Series, vintage collections,
Hot toys.
fucking oh damn, I forgot what I oh the little mobile game that Star Wars has. They have Bane, they have Revan. It's like you guys are acknowledging these.
Yeah, Bane was literally just in like that
Yeah,
Galaxy game or whatever, the little turn-based game.
it's like you guys are acknowledging these characters' existence, but you're too scared to bring them into canon. Why? It just it. I don't know if it's like they don't want to pay.
The material's there. I feel like they'll eventually be forced to use it because they'll just realize like it's untapped resource. Like, people like money. And once like they realize that this is something that will make money, and I think we're seeing them test it because there have been like there was those old Republic references and Skeleton Crew, and there's all these old Republic like rumors popping around. Like I think that they're like, let's maybe give it a shot. Like, just kind of maybe put something out there, see if it hits, and if it does, because if they just scrap the High Republic era and then just make their era they want to concentrate on, like they can retcon if they want. Like it's fine. I mean, because they've done some decent retconning, like in the comics, like the whole the bit of like I was telling Gazer, like in the comics, they write the fact that Boba Fett did kill like Aunt
They
Maru and
actually
Uncle
did.
Owen. Like that's Yeah, there's a whole bit where
Oh,
there's an issue in like the main it's in the main Star Wars canon. I think it was in the first 10 comics, and there was one where it's like goes through like Obi-Wan's journal, and he in the whole thing is just the whole comic is just going through Obi-Wan's journal of him living out in like the
yeah.
wastelands and everything, and then that ends with Boba Fett showing up and stealing the journal, and then that's how he then finds out this is Luke Skywalker, and then he goes does that, and then goes tells Vader like in like the bridge of like his Star Destroyer, like the name of that pilot that destroyed the Death Star. His last name was Skywalker, and then like you see
Yeah,
Vader go like this, like he's like just looking out this like glass, and he just goes like this, and then the glass just starts cracking a little bit.
bro.
So I mean, the retconning it's there, and it's cool because they start going with this whole story where just Vader's just got this like animosity built inside towards the Emperor. Is like you fucking lied to me, like.
Oh, I need to get into the
It's
comics.
like comics are dope. I love
I need to get into the comics.
comics,
Like,
especially the Vader one, dude. The
yeah,
Vader comic
I've
is
read
so good. There's
I've
so
read
many
this
cool
one,
things they
the
explore.
Darth Vader comic.
Yes, and it keeps going. Just because I think that it literally just picks up from 3 and just goes from there. And like you learn how he gets his red lightsaber. Like you learn like the original bleeding of the crystals is so cool. Like the original
Yeah,
concept of it, like because like basically in the comics, like he goes and he kills this Jedi. The Jedi has like a green lightsaber. He takes the green crystal out and he like holds in his hand. And then like all of a sudden, like he just snaps and then like his eyes turn blue. And he's like, oh God, what have I done? And he like he flies to like Coruscant, goes in the Emperor's office. And the Emperor's like, have you done what was needed to be done? And he's like, I have. And then he like lights up a green lightsaber and then kills the Emperor and then goes finds Obi-Wan, drops to his knees and apologizes to him. And then like as soon as Obi-Wan says the word Anakin, like Vader's ripped all the way back to the moment he's holding the crystal, and now the crystal goes from green to red.
bro.
So it's like all of his hate towards Obi-Wan is what literally like turned his crystal red.
That's oh my god, dude.
Yeah. That's dope. Like that's like if they're going to show like bleeding a crystal, that's what you need to
Yeah,
do right there.
that or like I haven't read the comic, but I know about it. Like Kylo Ren, where he tries to do it and he cracks
Yeah,
his crystal because I, I
with
yeah,
why it's
I
unstable.
don't exactly know why it cracked. I've seen videos on it, but I can't ever remember the reason.
I think it has to do with the fact that he isn't fully
That's what I was
committed to
about
the
to
dark
say.
side,
My head canon
and
is he's
and
conflicted.
because he's trying to bleed it, it
Yeah.
didn't work.
Oh, I need
Yeah.
to.
So I think it's because he's basically a good side guy that's trying to make
Yeah.
himself bad, and it's not
Which
working.
I wish they would have went. I hate the sequels, but I loved Kylo at least in the Force Awakens. It
And again, for him, comics are way better as far as they explore his
yeah, and
character.
like
Like they dig so
that
much deeper
video.
into
Have you
him.
seen the video of Adam Driver where he like basically leaked every secret that went down on the sequel trilogy? He went
Uh
on some talk show and he's like, "All right, so
uh-uh.
when they first casted us, they didn't let us read a script at all. They let them read a script in a concrete room, basically, like with security all around. They handed them the scripts and collected the scripts at the end of every session. They didn't get to practice lightsaber combat except for like 90 minutes before shooting.
And that showed. Like you could tell that it was a little awkward for like Daisy
Yeah,
Ridley and like Adam Driver.
you could tell.
Like they were okay, but you could tell like it wasn't polished to the level like the other
Yeah.
ones were.
And then the biggest one was Kylo Ren was supposed to be the reverse Vader. So basically, you know how Vader's so immersed in the dark side in episode 4, and then by episode 6, he turns back to the light. Kylo Ren was supposed to be conflicted
Oh,
in episode 7, but by episode 9, be this massive, menacing Darth Vader figure. It's like,
Yeah.
why didn't you do this? And Adam Driver was constantly trying to get J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson to stick with that storyline, and he did his best to keep that storyline in mind with like what they wanted. But he's like, I'm doing it my way, bro, and they just cut it up to where Kylo's a little bitch.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely had like I said, way cooler like stories in like the comics. It just didn't really get explored. Like, I mean, the whole Knights of Ren concept, like we didn't even get to see them. Those looked like just such cool characters. Never
Yeah,
got to see them. They had their own comic, but we never got to see them on
it
screen.
reminds me of the. Have you ever heard of the Cosmonaut Variety Hour? He's a movie
No.
reviewer on YouTube, and he did the Star Wars movies. Like he'll do stuff like in trilogies and stuff. Like he's reviewed the X-Men movies and trilogies. He's done like the
Hmm.
whole MCU, but he was doing Star Wars, and one of his things that sticks out to me every time I rewatch his videos is he'll be talking about the Rise of Skywalker, and he's like, there's whole backstories to these people, these characters from the Knights of Ren. It's like, who the hell is this guy? And he'll read the name, and he's like, oh, read the accompanying comic to find out about this Knight of Ren. He's got another joke that he's talking about the plot hole, or he's talking about Attack of the Clones, and how like Palpatine's plan to take out Padme is like the stupidest shit ever, because he gets Count Dooku to do it, but then he gets Jango Fett to do it, and he gets Zam Wexel to
Hmm.
do it, and she gets a robot to do it. But if you want to get technical, the robot gets these worms to do it.
You're just kind of waiting for the worms to have smaller worms pop out of them.
Oh man. Well, this has been a great, fantastic conversation. We're going on an hour and a half.
I agree.
It doesn't even feel like an hour and a half. But before I do my outro and we get out of here, any tips or words of wisdom for the people watching at home?
I would say, like we were talking about earlier, the theme of Star Wars is hope. So, I mean, if there is something Star Wars out there you don't like, just keep hoping. Like, they can't all be bad, and find what you can find out of the good stuff. And hey, guess what? Disney Plus memberships are not that expensive. You want to go back and watch the other six movies.
Or if
So
you're an old head like me, you just have them on DVD.
there you go. Come on, man! I got them on Blu-ray.
See, I
No.
actually do have this awesome Blu-ray right here. The Despecialized trilogy is the original, just Star Wars, A New Hope, Return to the bro. I cannot watch the other versions of Star Wars now. Like I cannot watch. I love the 2004 box set that I have because it was my grandpa's. I got it after he died. Those are the same DVDs that I grew up watching. Like they're still in pristine condition. I always took care of them. I love them to death, but when I get done watching Revenge of the Sith and I go to A New Hope, I have to throw in the specialized edition. Like I can't stand the unnecessary CGI shots.
You're not sitting there like you're not driving around town like rocking out to that awesome song that was playing in Return of the Jedi in Jabba's palace. I mean, thing
No,
slaps,
of course
man.
I love Jedi Rocks. What are you talking about? I love Snice Noodles.
Jedi rocks. Come on, Max
Max Rebo,
Rebo,
Snice Noodles. I love them all.
reunion
See, I can
tour.
watch
That's what we need. We need a Max Rebo behind the like music special on Disney
like they did the
Plus.
John Williams stuff, the live in concert.
Yes, Max Rebo back for one more night.
You see, I can watch the 2004 box set of Empire and Return to the Jedi. I cannot watch any Return to the Jedi that has Vader screaming no, because in my opinion, that is just the
No.
stupidest thing. Like I grew up with just the silence, and like silence can speak volumes. Like that scene where Anakin and Padme are looking out of the windows in Return of the Sith. I always do that. I always do that. I mean, technically, it is the Return of the Sith, but in Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin's in the council chambers and Padme's in their apartment, and they're just looking out, and it's just silence, and the music starts swelling. You're like, bro,
I mean, honestly, I've been trying to think. I imagine there's a combined 5 minutes of musicless like stuff in Star Wars
oh
because
yeah.
like it's just always playing in that movie.
They actually have a thing on Disney Plus where it's like the sounds of the galaxy, and it's literally just
I
moments
love
without
that.
the music. Like
Yeah,
I fell asleep watching it because it was just like spaceships flying and like the sounds of
it
space.
is
And I
relaxing.
woke up to just hear doo, 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 doo. I wake up and it's the Jedi Temple. I'm like, oh my god, that is terrifying. Like that's what they heard. There was no music. All they heard was marching.
Look at you sleeping at your post, and you just let Anakin go by and take all those freaking younglings.
That I did. I let them down, bro. Oh, but thank you for joining me on this awesome episode of Tales from Peridia.
Not a problem. My
Um,
pleasure.
Make sure you guys go check out Kyber Forged. All of his links will be down in the description down below. Shut up, phone. I guess I'm a rookie, and I still don't ever turn my ringer off whenever I'm going live or recording videos. But shut up. But we, yeah, this was a great conversation. Make sure you go check him out. And I'm gonna act
Absolutely.
like it's a live stream right now, and I'm gonna throw up the little banners that usually do. Make sure you guys go to saberspro.com, use code SWN00 at either one of those websites and get 10 or 15% off your entire order. Make sure, well, this is being pre recorded, and so by the time it comes out, you guys will just have to go watch the replay. But you're going on Nerds Galore tonight, right?
Yeah, I'll be on tonight on Nerds Galore, and then actually the first episode of our podcast, Gazer Forge,
Oh,
will be
dude,
on
I'm looking
Tuesday.
forward to that.
That'll be live.
I'm looking forward to that. As Dooku said, I've been looking forward to this. But again, thank you, man. It was awesome having you on, and we're
Absolutely.
definitely gonna have to get you back on later on. Because I know
Anytime, dude.
Gazer asked me the other day about the book club, and I'm looking forward to that one too.
Totally down.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys, for like the fourth time, go check out Kyber Forge, and may the force be with you always. Peace.
No. The Force is my ally. That's all I need.